Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove that oxygen sensor right there. Now you can see it goes up through the floor right here. You don't need to remove that. We just need to take this end off and we'll leave it hanging over here. Now they make multiple different tools that you can use to take this oxygen sensor out. You can use one something like this here. This is actually made by, I think it's a Snap-on if I'm not mistaken. And that would go onto a 1/2-inch ratchet. So you can put it over the top of it so that the wiring doesn't get destroyed underneath there, like that. They also, that's the one. They also make another one made for a 3/8 drive, like this. Again, that goes on your ratchet, very long handle, and you can usually get it out. These work pretty good, but you need to have that wire through that opening right there so you don't damage the wire. So you need to do it like this to get it off. Now, a lot of times, and this may be the case here too, that's pretty tight. And now when you're on here with a socket that's got that cut inside here, as you're pushing on this, you can actually feel the jaws opening up in this. Now it works pretty good most of the time, but sometimes it actually strips it out. The one I like the best is actually this tool right here. I think it's made by Matco if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I'm wrong. It's not made by Matco. It's made by, looks like KD Tools. I need my glasses. I can't read it, but I think that's what it is. It works pretty well on this one here. What you do is you put it over the top like this, and then when you push on it, these jaws do not open up like a normal socket. Now you want to do this, you want to take this oxygen sensor out before you disconnect anything up in the front there. So we just put it on, and we can break it loose. That's what I like about this one. It does not open up and round out anything. And then we're going to twist the oxygen sensor out at the same time. You want to be careful that you don't damage these wires. Now we'll take it totally out. Like this. And we'll just leave it hanging here for now so it's out of our way. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go up in the front right there. And at home you'll be using a Sawzall to cut it. I'm going to use a tool like this. It's a cutting wheel for my air gun, and we're going to cut those out up there. I'm going to cut the one out with this tool, and then the other one I'm just going to use my torch to cut it out. So, all right, let's get set up and we'll continue. So yeah, we're going to cut this out like this. Remember, we're cutting on the side that we're throwing away, so it doesn't matter if you slip and hit it by accident. You know what, let me cut the other side off using this tool as well. As you can see, you can do the same exact thing with a Sawzall at home. I just use my cutter, and then we have this disconnected right here. So we are going to take the rest of the exhaust off now. So, all right, let's get set up in the back and continue. Okay, I am going to use a torch to cut this off because it's going to be just a little bit quicker for me. So let me just cut that off, and then we'll continue with the back part of it. Always wear your safety goggles, no matter if you're cutting or what you're doing. It's not worth it. Okay, here we go. Okay, now I know you can cut it with the Sawzall. It just saved me a couple of minutes by doing it this way here. So now let's pull that muffler off. It'll give me a little bit easier time to get that off there. So all right, let's do that. Okay, now the way we get that muffler off is you just take a big pry bar like this, And you see these little rubber pieces right here? We just pry these off right up here to get it off the back, just like that. It looks easy, but you need a long pry bar to get it off. This one is up in the front. Now, I will point this out to you. You don't want to touch that because that's hot. All right, this is the piece here. We're just sliding these off. If these are stuck and you can't get them off, you can spray a little bit of penetrating oil on here, any kind of lubricant to make it slide a little easier. But that's it. All right, so let's go up front and take a look at the place in the front where that new one is going to be mounted to, and we'll see what that looks like. Now these, obviously, we just take these and throw them out. That's stuck, as you can see. We're going to hit that with a hammer. That'll pop right out. You will need to get this old gasket off of here. So let me get in here with a scraper, and we'll clean this all off, and we'll continue. Okay, to get that bolt out of there, most of the time you'll bang it, it'll come right out. So let's try it. And you see it comes right out. If it didn't come out, you can use a center punch over the top, like this, to try to center punch it out, but we didn't have to worry about that. Next thing we're going to do now is we'll scrape off this old gasket. It's very important that the entire gasket comes off. And at this point you want to minimize the movement in the front pipe because you don't want to damage the front flex pipe. Okay, we got it all cleaned up now, and make sure we got all that gasket material out of there. As you can see, it is a little bit rusted, but now we're just going to wait for the new exhaust system to get here, and then we'll put it back together. We have everything cleaned off underneath here where the converter is going to go. We're going to put our one gasket back on here like that. We're going to put our converter up here, and then we're going to bolt it back on using the new bolts that we got with it. Okay, now we have our converter up in the front here. We didn't tighten anything up yet. We're going to just hang everything first before we do anything. Take our new gasket again. Okay, now we have that portion of the exhaust hung. We're going to come back over here. Now we're going to hang our exhaust system back on as we took it off before. Okay, so now that we have everything hung, we can take our stand, just move it back a little bit, here. And now we're going to start in the front, and we're going to tighten it up from the front to the back. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to start from the front, and we're going to work our way to the back to tighten everything up. Okay, now our front is tight. We're going to go to the back and we'll tighten that up. And then we'll put our O2 sensor back in. So let's go to the back. Let's go up front and we'll put the O2 sensor in and we'll start it up. Okay, last thing we're going to do now is we're going to put our oxygen sensor back in. And we're just going to twist it a little bit to put it back in because we want it to untwist when we screw it tight. Okay, we have our new gasket up in the front, right up in here. We put our bolts in here with lock washers. We put our new gasket in here. We actually put new bolts and lock washers here. We tightened in our oxygen sensor. We came back over here. We installed a new gasket right inside here, tightened up these bolts. We hung the hangers back in place where they belong, all 3 of them. And that's it, we're all done. All right, this we could take down, we're done with that. All right, and let's go upstairs, so start it up and make sure it's quiet. Okay, all right, now that we have it running, we just put our hand around it to make sure it's okay. You can hear that buzzing noise up front that needs power steering fluid or something. Nice and dry here and here. And the last thing we're going to check is back here. That's it. Okay, so that's it. You're all set. Now, obviously, you know, I don't have to say this, but I always tell all my customers anyway, burning smell is normal. You're going to get a burning smell for a day or two until the new system has all like coating burnt off of it too, so you'll get a little bit of burning smell, you'll get a little bit of smoke, but nothing to worry about. As always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.